What's good, everyone? This is DJ's Raw and Cut Truth, giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Man, happy Monday to everybody. Peace and blessings to everyone. I've been so excited to do this stream. Uh, man, I've been so excited for this because this is a conversation that we all got to be honest about. We got to be honest about this conversation. For those who tuned in, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to share the video so we can have a more broader discussion. And if you want to join the panel, I sent the StreamYard link for those who want to tune in. But I want to say this. I see HL Kid. Peace and blessings, brother. Peace and blessings. Cambria, I see you, my sister. Said, can't wait to hear your thoughts. Mine ain't too positive. Well, it's going to be objective. It's going to be very objective. You know, we LaMelo holics. We root for LaMelo Ball. We want him to do well. But damn, this team, man. And I told y'all this summer, and many others did too, not just me. Shout out to the homie Juju. Yo, Juju, if you want to hop on the panel, I'll just send a link. You're more than welcome. The Hornets, the way they're constructed, I have the Hornets right now as a 9th and 10th seed until further notice. I repeat, the Charlotte Hornets, as they are constructed right now, are a 9th or 10th seed. I hate it for it to be like that. I didn't want it to come down to that type of discussion. But man, oh man, the preseason was an atrocity. And what got exposed was there's no depth on this team. So if anyone gets injured, if a key player missed a ton of games, they don't have the firepower to have a winning streak. This is a big problem. A very big problem. And for those who tuned in, make sure you hit the like button, share this video. I'm going to add in my homie. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Juju knows who's. What's good, brother?
Hey, man, what's good with you, DJ?
Man,
What's going on, man?
I'm glad you back, man. I'm glad. I'm no cap, bro. I miss hearing from you because you bring in another side for these younger generation, right? They can relate to you.
For sure.
And salute to you, man. You're doing wonderful things in your channel. And you know why you're doing wonderful things? You're doing things your way.
Yes, sir.
But
You
man,
already know.
I got a question, my brother. Looking at this team, how it's constructed,
Mm.
do you think this is a playoff team? Or do you think they need to make some
Mm.
more moves?
Well, that's a tough question, but honestly, DJ, I think both. I think they need to make more moves, but I think they're right now currently constructed. I think they're a top 8 seed in the East. Especially looking at, some of the top teams, with Kyrie with the vaccination thing, and then you have the Sixers with Ben Simmons. I mean, to me, right now, the East is kind of wide open. But I don't think the Hornets are going to be in that upper echelon of teams. I do think they're going to be on a lower side of the East, 6th to 8th seed. But I think it's purely because of LaMelo, Miles, and Terry. I think they just have enough. But I do think they're going to have to make a move. Gordon Hayward doesn't really fit with this team. He kind of slows down the pace of the offense. He also he doesn't really fit in terms of his age and just the style of play. You would much rather use that to go get a center. So I think it's both, DJ.
Yeah, I respect that opinion because I'm glad you're not saying 4th or 5th seed. I believe you have more common sense than that. I said 9th seed until proven otherwise.
Do you say 4th seed? Bro, hold on. I said that because I just thought that the team
Mhm.
after the team coming off the bench, bro, I thought they would be better. I thought Kai
Right.
Jones would be a little bit better. I thought Kelly Oubre would be a little bit better, but I overrated the bench of the Hornets, man. They're terrible.
You know what? I respect that because we're not always right on stuff, man. Shout out to JG. I see you, my brother. Shout out to Best Impact and AJ Watson, HL Kids Snow. We're not perfect at this predicting game. Trust me, I'll be the first to admit that. But I had high hopes for this bench too. I thought the young guys would buy into their role and play smarter and play to their identity. But we're not seeing that. Like Thunder said, they need a rim runner.
Facts.
There's not one on this team. Kai Jones could be, but he's young. He's still learning the game. He's trying to catch up with his talent. His basketball IQ needs to be better. Uh, I would love, and I will keep beating on this drum. I would love for the Hornets to get Miles Turner. I think it
Mm,
rectifies what this team's trying to do. If they get Miles Turner, it my prediction from a 9 seed goes up to a 6 seed. I guarantee it.
factuals. Wait, DJ, did you hear about DeAndre Ayton and the Suns? They're reluctant to give him the mass extension, and they're looking like they might want to trade him. I'm looking at PJ, Gordon Hayward. I don't know if that'll be enough, but they also said Karl Anthony Towns potentially. So I mean, it could be players much bigger than Miles Turner if Mitch Kupchak is really in the office looking to make some big moves.
I would love that. Now, the question is, will Mitch Kupchak and the media, I mean, not media, but the organization, are they going to stop doing this flea market spending? I called the Charlotte Hornets the flea market of the NBA because they try to do bargain-based deals and try to hope for the best. They lucked up having LaMelo as the number 3 overall pick, and now they're like, oh, we got LaMelo, we don't have to overpay. But if you want to win in the NBA, a man's league, you better spend something.
Yep. That's totally right, man. I'm looking at what they did in the offseason. They didn't do too well. They should have went after Rashawn Holmes of the Sacramento Kings. They had a couple of pieces. Even Dwight Howard they could have went after. I don't think they did. Mitch Kupchak did the best job of building around LaMelo and the core of this team. Especially off the bench. Ish Smith was a decent pickup. I didn't agree with not re-signing Malik Monk. Even trying to keep Devontae Graham, but I like what I've seen out of Book Night. But other than that, I didn't like the signings out of free agency. Those were terrible moves.
Oh yeah, that's just trying to trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents.
Yes, sir.
Oh, he's athletic. He could run. Maybe he could fit with this team. It doesn't work like that, man. You got to pay for dogs.
Yep.
Look at the Phoenix Suns. Mikal Bridges is a solid role player, but what did he get? Like 90 something million for 4 years.
Yep.
You got to spend to win.
Yep. Look at Miami. PJ Tucker, Kyle
Uh-huh.
Lowry, the Morris. They got veterans. They got pit bulls out of free agency, and that's what you have to do if you're talking about playoffs. You can't just try to bank on drafting good players because at the end of the day, just having young players isn't going to be enough to get you over those veteran teams. So you have to get these veterans that have playoff experience off the market, and the Hornets failed miserably at doing that this offseason.
Excellent, my brother. Like the honorable Coach Joe would say, man. You got there's two things you got to have to win championships. You got to have grown men because look at the ages of players that win. The only correct me if I'm wrong, brother. The only few teams that had a young roster and won it all was the 2014-15 Warriors and the Showtime Lakers.
Yep.
Those are the only two teams, and those are historic teams. Every team is older. Look at the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Kobe was young, but Shaq and everybody else was older. So it was a blended team. It's either a blended team with young and old, or just an older team. That's who usually wins championships. And Mitch Kupchak, what he has to do is convince Michael Jordan. I'm like, look, Mike, we know you're frugal. Hey, Mike's frugal unless he pays for the guys he wants. He wanted Gordon Hayward so bad because
Facts.
ever since he got beat by Larry Bird in the playoffs, he been wanting to find the next Larry Bird. He did that with Adam Morrison. Remember that?
Yeah, that was trash.
Let me read this. A-Pain Savage, what's good, my brother? He said, I'm gonna say it again. I keep hearing about these other teams, but Washington Wizards will wake everybody up. I'll say this about Washington: their roster is not bad. Like they're not. They got Bill. Kuzma's not a star, but Kuzma is a young. He'll produce in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they got Spencer Dinwiddie. You got Dinwiddie and Bill. That's a good backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
And they got
Hachimura.
Hachimura. Got a couple of veterans. So they're not a bad roster. The thing is, do they know how to win?
Yep.
Their roster is good. I like their roster. Actually, their roster is better than the Hornets. If you take away LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, and Hayward, you don't really have anything with the Hornets.
Mm,
What
that's
you think
fair.
about
No, I mean, if we're saying that the Wizards are better than the Hornets this year, I would disagree. But I do think if you want to make the argument that after the core players of the Hornets that and like off the bench, if you want to say the Wizards bench is arguably better than the Hornets bench, I wouldn't disagree with that because the Hornets bench is really bad. I mean, their best player off the bench is possibly a rookie, Book Knight. I
right?
mean, we don't know, so that's a tough argument right there. But I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Oh yeah, definitely. I still have the Hornets overall since LaMelo Bridges, Rozier. I have that slightly up, right? Just because of those
Mhm.
players I listed. But as an overall roster, Wizards, because that bench of the Hornets, man.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
they some young players, but they playing like they in the upper room right now.
So you got the Wizards over the Hornets?
No, 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 no. I have the Hornets over the Wizards. I'm just saying that
Okay.
the Wizards have a total roster. They just have more depth.
Right.
Um, if the
I can't
Wizards
disagree
know
with
how
that.
to win, if they could show everybody that they know how to win, maybe they'll be a good team
Right.
that
But
sneak into the playoffs.
to me, I just I'm looking at the point guard. I think Spencer Dinwiddie is very questionable. I don't know if he's built to like to me. If you're, I'm a big point guard guy, and I think point
Right.
guards go a long way. So I'm looking at the LaMelo and Dinwiddie. I just think LaMelo is so much better, and he impacts the team so much better that the Hornets will at the end of the day will be better just off of that principle alone. And then you have the other things that go into it as well. But I just give just because they have LaMelo, a difference maker at the point guard position that I know we can count on. I just think that at the end of the day, the Hornets will be clearly better than the Wizards.
Right. I give them that. Um, the competition will be like the competitive, like for the playoff seeding, is
Mhm.
against the Pacers, Knicks. Who else? Am I missing something? Pacers,
Uh,
Knicks, Raptors.
right, and you can throw in. Do you want to throw in Toronto as well? Because I got all the
Yeah,
teams pulled up as well.
I think Toronto's going to be retooled for some
Right,
reason. They are loaded. They got a lot of size. They have defense, and I know they lost Lowry, but they added some depth.
right. Scotty Barnes is definitely a nice pickup. Makes him a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit more versatile. Getting Siakam back from injury. We know what Van Fleet can do. We've seen it in the playoffs. I mean, and OG and Anunoby, the Toronto Raptors, man, they're gonna be slept on. Don't be surprised if they're better than the Hornets this year.
no, I wouldn't be surprised at all. They have retooled. Shout out to Masai Jury. Um, he is one of the best scouts. Like he's a GM, but he knows how to eye for talent. Him and the scouting department do a great job of just getting players out of nowhere. They got this brother from Oregon, the big man. I forgot his name. He's coming out of nowhere, and then they got Scotty Barnes who could guard multiple positions. That's going
Right,
to be an advantage.
right.
Uh,
The Raptors look nasty
Gerson says you got to be better than more teams to get to the playoffs. The Hornets, as it is, are better than Cleveland, Orlando, Detroit. Yeah, we know they're better than them.
for sure. But I mean, I think they're better than the Knicks too. Like to me, I think the Knicks had a overachieving year. And
Hmm.
I'll even throw in the Pacers as well. Looking at a lot of the matchups last season, especially in the regular season when the Hornets were healthy, They actually beat these teams. Indiana, they won the head-to-head matchup when healthy in the regular season. Same thing with Atlanta. Same thing with Boston, Washington, even Toronto. So a lot of these teams that, and I know some of these teams weren't healthy last year, but when the Hornets were healthy, bro, they were better than these teams last year. So I expect the same type of thing this year as long as they can stay healthy and, especially running through the offense with LaMelo now. Thinks everything's going to be a little bit more smoother. So I think they should be pretty competitive with a lot of those teams. I'm just scared about, the Chicagos, the Phillies, the Atlantas. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be up there with those teams this year.
Let me read this comment. I read all. Patterson says Raptors ain't gonna do nothing, and you smoking if you think the Hornets are better than the Knicks. Hey man, I'm smoking that reality, brother. and the Knicks, the Knicks have one thing over the Hornets. I'll admit they have culture. I've said that on shows, plenty of streams. They have culture. The thing is, Kemba Walker, is he healthy enough? I'm hearing about knee issues um, and other stuff. I know he could score, but the Knicks are not juggernauts. They play hard, and last season was a COVID year. A lot of teams didn't really get their legs. The Hornets, not the Hornets, the Knicks um, had a lot of youth on their team. But again, I think people will catch up to it. They will not be higher than the 7th seed.
The Hornets?
No, I'm talking about the Knicks.
Oh, the Knicks. Okay. I
I,
can see
I,
the Knicks not making the playoffs.
I have a weird feeling about the Knicks this year for some reason. I I don't know what it is. It's just I think people will figure them out. And I have nothing against the Knicks. I think when the Knicks are playing great, it's great for the NBA. AJ Watson says Hornets gotta go 1,000,000%. No lazy games. Win games you're supposed to win to make the playoffs. Playoffs. Facts. One thing I was disappointed, Juju, about this preseason games were the effort. I didn't like the effort. I think they were just going through the motion, and the only teams I can see doing that is championship teams.
Mm.
The Hornets are not there yet, so they had to take preseason seriously. They didn't, so I'm hoping the regular season is better than what I saw in preseason.
Yeah, I think it will be. I have faith in the team. I have faith in LaMelo that they'll figure it out. I just think this is a really young team and it's a fairly new team as well, especially off the bench. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get the chemistry back where it was last season. But I think they'll get there, bro, and they'll make it work. LaMelo find out, man. He'll find a way to get everybody involved and make everybody better than what they are. So I got faith in them.
Patterson said, "What? Come on, man! The Hornets bench got beat by millions in preseason." Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But if Coach James Borrego doesn't do this positionless crap too many times and play the starters 30 plus minutes, then they wouldn't have to worry about a bench. Yeah, they'll get tired here and there. As long as LaMelo's doing his thing, he needs about. I'll put this out there for the Hornets to make the playoffs as the roster is constructed. LaMelo Ball needs about 20 plus points and double digit assists.
Very doable.
He has to
Very
get.
doable. I think he can do that. He kind of struggled in the preseason, with his jumper, especially. He definitely struggled shooting the basketball. He struggled sometimes not getting to the rim. He got to the rim with easy, but he struggled finishing around length. But a lot of the core things that we saw last year out of LaMelo's game really is still there. The floaters, the ability to finish with either hand, the ability to push and transition. And now we've seen a couple, other abilities like shooting in the mid range. But I think the three ball will come around. And by the time that comes around, that's when he's really going to take that step into being that Nets player.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little leadership. Now, the last preseason game, I was disappointed because I think LaMelo came out flat. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like it. I ain't going to cap. I did not like it. But it's probably because it's preseason. Unfortunately, a lot of these players, when they play preseason games, they don't really go out of their way. Some players do, but not a lot of them. Between the game, sports says the gauge for the Hornets' success will be after about 20 to 30 games. I agree. And subscribe to his channel, Between the Game Sports. Good commentary, knows his sports. Subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Shout out to the homie Walter Robinson. He said LaMelo needs 33 to 35 minutes. The coach's weird rotations will determine the fate of this team. Oh, talk to him. Talk to him. James Borrego, Juju, looking at JB, do you have any faith in him as a coach?
Oh yeah. I'm actually one of those guys. I have a ton of faith in JB, especially being what he said earlier in the offseason about LaMelo, how he like because to me this is it all revolves around LaMelo. If LaMelo can be who he is, that is what's going to take this team to the next level. And I think JB is finally acknowledging that. Because, like you said earlier, man, they didn't know LaMelo was going to be this good. They didn't know what he was when they first drafted him. So I don't blame JB totally last year for how he did the rotation and how he was pulling them in and out the lineup. But seeing this year how he has faith in LaMelo to take over the reins and how he's giving him more leeway to do what he needs to do to be a better player, I have a little bit more faith in JB than I did last year. Because last year was like, dude, you got Tay Baby in the fourth quarter over like, bro, it is no way you're going to be a good team with doing those weird rotations. So now that he's finally figured out who the guy is, I think it's going to be much more easier to have faith in him. So off of that alone, I definitely got a little bit more faith in him, DJ, for sure.
Yeah, my only retort to that, my brother, is I gotta see it to believe it.
That's fair.
Now, JB is saying all the right things, and credit to him. I mean that's helped him get the extension that he has, even though he has a below 500 record.
That's
So
true. Even though he's
I
had
mean,
some
I
bad
ain't lying.
teams, though.
Yeah, he did. But this is my last time. I'm going to see. I'm going to see what this ends up with. But I'm going to tell you what I don't want to see from JB. I don't want to see bad lineups. I don't want to see LaMelo not playing 30 plus minutes. I don't want to see too much of that auto zone defense. I know he'll play it, but I don't want to see it all the time.
Right.
When this is a man to man league, why in the hell are you playing zone all the time and this is a man to man league?
That's fair. The only thing I can give JB that we both can give him is Charlotte's you even before LaMelo got there, Charlotte was always projected to be a 18 win season team or 17, 19 wins. And he usually coaches them up to where they get 5 or 6 more wins than they're supposed to. So that I can give him credit. He makes something out of nothing sometimes a little bit. So, but his rotations are definitely weird and the defensive struggles are weird. But I think this year will be a little bit better with all that.
True, true. Um, oh boy. Marcel Marshall said Melo won't be what you all want until the generation before him retires. His mediocre generation's filling the NBA. Man, who kicked your lawn, brother? I mean, golly. I mean, you one of those. Yeah, y'all can't. Y'all ain't better than the '60s generation. We had Bob Cousy and I mean, golly, man, y'all gotta let these young brothers flourish, man. It's their time now. It's the young. It's always like that. When Jordan couldn't do it anymore, he knew that it was Kobe's time and everybody else's time, Shaq and company. It happens. This is what the sport does. And then after Kobe was LeBron, and after LeBron was KD, and after KD was Giannis. This
Yep.
is a cycle of professional sports. Now you have the right to have your opinion, but um, you can't really grow too many 6, 7 point guards with that much handle and pizzazz like LaMelo. They don't just grow on trees.
Yeah, Marcel, you gotta stop hating, man. Stop hating.
Yeah, he can have his opinion, but sometimes I get the agenda, man. This kid came in um, very popular, and it grew a lot of jealousy. Remember when he was younger, man, they was banking on him not being drafted too high.
Yep.
They was banking on him to be an average player. Since he's doing his thing and really rose above the hate, they now want to nitpick everything he does. And he's what, 20 years old?
Yep.
He's not even old. LaMelo's not even old enough to drink. And he's getting judged like he's been in the league for 15 years. Uh,
Blasphemy.
Angel Ray says LaMelo needs to realize that he has a target on his back. Other teams and players don't believe he's that guy. It doesn't really matter what other teams and players think. He just got to keep balling and represent the name in the back of his jersey with his ball. And I think he'll be just fine. Oh, Thunder, I do agree with that. John Collins, if they could get John Collins, that'd be great. But I don't see the Hawks trying to help out the Hornets.
They don't I mean it depends. I think Miles Bridges Miles Bridges is 4, so I think Miles Bridges is kind of like a John Collins kind of thing. He's not as big as him, but I think they need more in the mode of a Clint Capella, bro. If they had a Capella,
Oh yeah,
or that would be like, yeah, they're gonna be fifth, sixth seed, like how I was predicting earlier. But yeah, without that, I don't see them getting that high.
yeah. Miles Bridges is a tweener. He could play the 3 and the 4. He just playing the 4 because they have Gordon Hayward, and
Yes, sir.
you can't put Gordon Hayward, Mr. Glass, at the 4. He's brittle. He's so brittle, man. He bruises pinky. You sit out a game. Douglas Goldshot says salute to DJs Ron Kachu. Shout out to Juju Knows Hoops and LaMelo Holics in the building. Love the energy. It's energy. It's synergy, my brother. Man, this is that good old basketball talk.
Shout out Douglas, man. Shout out to you, man.
Uh, Flight Sports TV says it's going to be tough. The East is stacked. Shout out to DJ and Juju. Appreciate that.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
the East is a lot better. I'll give you that. The East is a lot better. And you want it that much. You want your teams to be battle tested. So this will be good for the Hornets. Now, how are they going to respond after a loss and after a win?
Mm.
It remains to be seen.
Yes, sir. Shout out Flight Sports TV, man. Keep doing your thing. Yeah, the East is going crazy this year. It's definitely East is definitely way better than it has been in the last 5 years, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
KD, MB, like you have so many of the great players in the league all on the East now, and it's tough right now, man.
Oh, it is, man. We always say it's a man's league, and these NBA teams are figuring out what the West are doing and getting some of their players. And that what it's done is these teams are juggernauts. Look at the Chicago Bulls, man. The
Mm,
Chicago Bulls are so loaded, brother, that Lonzo could average 10 points and 7 assists a game, and that's
mm.
probably all they need.
Yep. Yep. They can win 45 to 50 games. Alonzo, all you gotta do is have 12 points and shoot damn near 40% from three, and the Bulls are gonna be right where they should be, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they might end up. I ain't even gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna do it.
They be on your channel, be like, hey man,
Yeah.
Juju said, man, that's the one thing about YouTube, Juju. You'll understand this, man. I'm just here talking about sports, man. They'll have this whole joint like a soap opera.
Mm,
I mean, y'all could watch Young and the Restless all you want. This is sports, man.
yep. Tired of the drama, man. We don't do the
Yeah.
drama.
Uh, Patterson says, no disrespect, but give LaMelo at least 2 years. He can become the man. Look at Grant Hill after he won Rookie of the Year. He grew into the position, and then they gave him the kingdom. Well, the Detroit Pistons won a championship. They won two with Isaiah Thomas a decade before, right? So they are an organization that was used to winning before they were losing those couple of years in the early '90s, and not early '90s, but mid '90s. Look at the Hornets. The Hornets have never was known for being a championship team. So that's why it's important to give LaMelo the keys because he is their ticket to their future. The Hornets cannot act like they're like these other franchises. And brother, I respect your opinion, but I want you to hear me out. Since the Hornets have no history of dominance, this is the journey they have to be on. If they don't, then they're wasting LaMelo's talent. And you don't want to do that. What you think, Juju?
Yeah, you don't want to you want to give him the keys right away and let him develop like you need to. Like you said, DJ, the Charlotte Hornets haven't been anything what since the 90s, bro. So what they don't know how to win. You have to give LaMelo the keys because that's your best chance at winning right there. If you let him develop and get to his ceiling, that's going to be your opportunity. Just like you said, that's going to be their ticket to success. So as long as they're doing that, giving LaMelo the keys and building around him good as well, because we've seen now it's a couple questions about how they're building the team around LaMelo Ball, and that's the biggest thing. But I think the in the larger scope of things, you just have to let LaMelo go out there and develop into who he is to have the best chance at success. So I agree with you, DJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an example on this one. What if the Lakers had a draft pick because of a trade they made in the past, right? And let's say they got LaMelo Ball. LaMelo can grow into position in 2 years because the Lakers are a championship team. Teams like that, yeah, you could wait for 2 years. But the Charlotte Hornets are the Charlotte Hornets. There's no such thing as wait to him get the keys. The people are trying to watch LaMelo Ball. They're not trying to watch Gordon Hayward dribble the ball like he's a Harlem Globetrotter, losing the ball, and then not showing up against good competition.
Right.
They're not paying their money for that. They're trying to see LaMelo do his thing and put on a show.
Factuals.
Uh, Thunder says Melo gonna average 22 this year. He is that guy. He just still growing in his body. Yeah, he's 20 years old.
Yeah, I could actually see him DJ averaging. I wouldn't be surprised if LaMelo is the leading scorer on the team. The way that they're playing this year versus last year, they're looking a lot for him more. Like Miles Bridges is looking to pass him the ball every time if he doesn't have a shot. Same thing a little bit with Terry Rozier. They're just looking for LaMelo a lot more. They're running a lot more offense on and off the ball for him to score, whether it's, down screens, whether it's handoffs, whether it's, curls. They're running a lot for him to score, and he scores very easily as well, as especially if you get him into certain spots. So I think he might. It could be a big chance that he's the leading scorer on this team. So I agree with what Thunder has said. 22, 23, maybe even 24, 25. So he's gonna have a great year this year, bro.
Oh yeah, someone said Kai Jones needs about 20 or 30 pounds. He gets that, then he'll be on his way. Um, Patterson says, so do y'all see LeBron and Melo? Question mark. No, we never even said that. There's
Hmm?
only one LeBron James.
Oh, are
But
you talking about LeBron's game in LaMelo? I mean, yeah, a little bit. When it comes to the IQ and the passing ability at the young age, but LaMelo is different, man. He's just different.
yeah, LeBron James is a freak of nature. I don't think there would be anybody in a long time that's what 6'8", 260.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, playing point forward. But you say because he is the only one I see giving the keys that should be given the keys immediately. You don't have to be a LeBron James talent level to get the keys. NBA history has shown all of us that throughout the years. If you're a poorly franchised, you better hope to give the top five pick you drafted the keys, because if you don't, that's a wasted pick and it slows down the development. Look at John Morant. The Memphis Grizzlies was in the can. They was getting beat up in the West. They drafted John Morant. They gave him the keys. Now John Morant gave him an identity, and they're a playoff team in a tough Western Conference.
Facts.
It's levels to this, brothers and sisters. It's levels to this, man. We're not saying because, and respect to you, Patterson. I, I hate when they compare like superstars to these young players and say, "Well, they're on this level. They can't be." If you're an all star, if you're an up and coming young player, you don't have to be LeBron James talent level, Kobe, or anybody else. But if you could be a perennial all star, that's good enough. Look at Trey Young, Luka Doncic. They were given the keys the first year. They took their lumps. Look at them now. There's no process in stardom. Let me repeat that. There is no process in stardom. Hey, everybody got quiet around.
Yeah, man. That you speaking facts over here. Ain't no rebuttal to that. For
I need that
real.
church beat. I need that church beat.
For real. Yeah, man. And that's the thing that you have to do with guys that you actually see potential in being high caliber talents. You have to put the developmental time into that player. I mean, we can relate this to even a guy like Alonzo Ball, right? Alonzo Ball, I mean, he had the keys in terms of getting playing time, but at the same time, he wasn't given the fair deal. You know, the team wasn't being ran through him. He wasn't playing in the fourth quarter, and we saw that hurt his development down the line because he didn't have that experience in, fourth quarter moments, clutch moments, and it just hurt his game down the line. And the Lakers ended up trading him. So you have to put that developmental time into those players, and that involves giving them the keys to the offense. And we saw this with even LaMelo Ball last year. He struggled sometimes coming off the bench, when he was standing in the corner, or he wasn't getting the minutes that he deserved, or, he's playing 2 minutes and getting pulled out in the next 2 minutes. Like, you just have to give these players time to learn. And, I'm glad that JB is finally giving LaMelo that leash this year.
Man, excellent said, brother. Excellent point. And AJ Watson says, "Do you think Zion will leave the Pelicans? Contract is up." Man, he's out like a scout on a brand new
Hey,
route. I
Zion
felt
to the
like
Hornets, baby. Let's get it. Let's
he's
go.
out, man. He is out of there, man. Man, he's a Zion so big right now. Who's their training staff? He is a butter biscuit away from 300 plus pounds. Golly, man. They must be feeding him alligator meat, crawfish, Zatarans, you name it, man. They are feeding him everything.
Bro, he got to get away from New Orleans, man. Bro, he eating gumbo every day, man. He can't be eating that gumbo, man. And that seafood is getting him too big.
You know the Big Mama at the restaurant said, "You want some shrimp, baby?" You know, eat that gumbo blend.
Oh, man.
Ooh, man. You want some crawfish, baby? Feeding Zion, man.
Yeah, that's tough. He gonna be out of there though. I don't see it. They're not doing a good enough job building around him. I just don't see it.
And, and one thing I appreciate about you, Juju, when you talk about Lonzo Ball, like people may say, "Oh, you dislike Lonzo." I don't think you dislike Lonzo. I think you came to a realization that Lonzo is who he is. He doesn't like to attack the basket. He prefers to shoot threes and attack, and he's not really assertive when it comes to scoring. He'd rather just play in transition, and he's not really a half court player.
Right.
When,
I think he has. See, that's the thing. I think he can do it, but like you said, I think it's just up to him. He'll rather play a certain way, and I think he's
right.
been born to play a certain way. So I'm not going to hold him to a standard of playing like a Chris Paul or Steve Nash. I just don't see that in him. But I do think he can be great at what he does, which is shooting threes. And if he can shoot threes at the level like he did at UCLA, 40% clip, shooting out the dribble. If Lonzo can do stuff like that, I do think it's an avenue to him being great. But I just don't think it's in the way of him, being a pick and roll player or, finishing at the rim like Kyrie. That's just not his game.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Back to the Pelicans, my brother. And I know this is about the Hornets, but I wanted to point this out because a lot of people were blaming Zoe last season, and I was telling
Mm.
folks, I said, "Nah, Zoe has his flaws, but the Pelicans as an organization, they don't even know what they're doing." Zion's out for what, a couple weeks, a month. He has a foot issue because he's overweight, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. They're like, "Oh no, DJ, it's Lonzo. He's the one. He's messing up the franchise." I said, I get it. I get it. Lonzo is not assertive enough, but he's not the reason why that franchise is. They've been bad for so long, brother. This is why AD left.
Yeah, the Pelicans aren't good at all. I right now I think it's because of David Griffin. I don't think they're going to get anywhere with him. I just to me he's a snake, and a lot of the things that he's done in the past have not been anything that we should look at. Him taking his team and making them a playoff team. So I don't think the Pelicans are going to get anywhere with David Griffin in the front office. They just got to make some moves, man. They got to make some more moves. But man, it's tough. Earlier I said, on my channel that maybe they could be in the playoffs, but with Zion Williamson and the foot injury, I don't see them being good at all, man. They play terrible, terrible in the preseason. Jeez, man, it's no way. It's horrible, man.
Man, prayers for the Pelicans. Prayers for the Pelicans. Best Impact says sign Graham. He has a terrible shooting percentage, terrible at defense. Hey, I tried to tell him, but they kept calling me a hater for being honest. I'm just breaking down the game, man. Those 14 points per game that Devontae Graham had, they're really just him taking a bunch of shots because Borrego has a infatuation with him. Put him
Yeah,
in.
man. He was married to that dude on the low, bro. I'm not surprised
Man.
he was married, bro.
Patterson said Pelicans play better than the Hornets, though.
When in the preseason?
I
I don't know
mean,
about that. I don't know
I
about
think
that.
we're having this
I don't know
recency
about that.
bias.
Yeah, we are because
Look,
last year the Hornets definitely blasted the Pelicans, or no, they beat them one time. It was 1-1, so I'll give you that.
man, that
Oh yeah, they did get Jonas Valanciunas as well, DJ. That he's not bad. They gonna
yeah,
be
he's
all right.
good. He's good.
It might be all right.
That's not really saying much. To say that. Well, the Pelicans are better than the Hornets. You're in the Western Conference. You better hope that they're better than the Hornets
Mm.
to even make the eighth seed.
Yeah, the
But yeah,
Hornets in the West. I don't know what I don't know what they are in the West.
Anonymous do say I like the addition of Valanciunas. I agree. Hey
That's somebody
Patterson.
who we should have got, man.
Oh yeah, man. But you know the Hornets. Oh, that may be a little too pricey. We got to pay Miles Bridges. We got to pay. Let's go get Plumlee and turn him into a starter.
Oh my god, that is horrible, man. That's terrible.
let's save some money, man. Let's go spend it like the flea market. And
I ain't gonna
and
lie,
Plum,
Nick Richards has looked better than Plumlee damn near in the preseason.
yeah, he's been looking good in preseason. Patterson said preseason, yes, check the record. I don't really I ain't gonna hold you, man. When it comes to preseason records, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just when I look at preseason, I look at the play rather than the record.
Right.
Because the Lakers didn't have a good preseason record, but I'm sure they'll win 40 plus games.
Right.
Yeah, Anonymous do says something is up with that organization. Hope they can get it together.
Yeah, somebody definitely got a Pelicans doll and they poking it at their house with that voodoo because it's just something that, and they've been doing it for like the last 20 years, bro. Somebody did a spell on the Pelicans organization, bro. I don't know what's going on,
Uh,
man.
that New Orleans voodoo.
Real. Some
That voodoo.
serious.
Yeah, David Griffin, he got to bounce, man. He's got to go. Um, he was a fraud. His claim to fame was just being the GM of a LeBron coach team. And LeBron James and Clutch are able to get guys um, out of free agencies and trades. That's what they do. So I don't think Griffin did anything special with the Cavaliers, and he took that popularity and took it with the and placed with the Pelicans, and you see how they're doing. People saying, "Why is he doing bad? He was good. He was never good. just in a
Ever.
good situation. He was just in a good situation." Anonymous says the East is tight, guys, from 1 to 8. Man, I really believe the Eastern Conference is going to be a junkyard fight every single night. Now,
Factuals.
the two teams, the Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks, they're going to do their thing. But the Bulls, they're
Mm.
also doing their thing. Sixers, I know they got the Ben Simmons situation, but they got a good coach and Doc
Yep.
Rivers. Brother, I know you was questioning the Pacers. One thing I'm worried about the Pacers, their coach. What's his name again? He coached the Dallas Mavericks. Rick Carlisle. Rick
Oh,
Carlisle.
I forgot about him.
His X's and O's coaching can steal a bunch of wins. So they'll win games that they shouldn't even win. I guarantee it, because he did that with the Mavericks. Now they don't have a Luka Doncic type of player, but they have enough where they could win a ton of games.
Okay. So I got a question for you, DJ.
Yeah.
So all these teams in the East. Um, so would you want to go down the list of the teams in the East, and I want to see which ones do you think are like clearly better.
Um. Yeah, we'll go down. We'll go down with the teams. Um, and we're just talking about Eastern Conference, everybody. Eastern Conference. So the number one team, since they won it all, I got to be fair. The Bucks. My number two team, the Nets. My number three team, the Boston Celtics. And I know you guys gonna be like, "Oh, the Celtics didn't." This coaching staff is really good, and I believe Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and their role players will exceed expectations. Number four, I got the Miami Heat. Never
Mm.
count out Jimmy Butler and company. They're battle tested, and they're some dogs. Number five, Atlanta Hawks. Trey Young. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I scratched that. I scratched that. Let me scratch that. So Bucks, Nets, what I had number three? Celtics, Bulls at four. I got the Bulls at four.
So you got the Celtics at number 3.
Yes, I got the
Okay.
Celtics at number three, Bulls
What do
at
you see
four.
in them?
I really believe Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to go off. It's
Okay.
going to be close. Bulls at four. Now I could be wrong. See, I'm tripping. I don't even like the Celtics. I got that Laker blood in me. So
Yeah, the Celtics, they don't have a like after Jason Tatum and Brown. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, you can say Schroeder, but to me, I like the Hornets, the top of the Hornets, better than I like the top of the Celtics. Now, the Celtics are definitely deeper, but if we're talking about the best players, I mean,
Uh-huh.
LaMelo, Miles, Terry, Gordon. I mean, they're kind of deep with the top of their team. So I don't know, but I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, they're a wild card. I know it's a gamble. Okay, I keep switching around. Let's cut the chase. Let's do it again. Let's be objective. Bucks, Nets, Bulls at three,
Mhm.
Celtics at four. I still got Celtics at four, Hawks at five, Heat at six. Um, seven, I'm going to go
Philly.
Philly. Eight, I'm going to go with Toronto. Nine, I'm gonna go with the Hornets.
That's tough right there, DJ.
I know it is. If it was my way, I would want to put the Hornets five or somewhere, but I gotta see it from them. I gotta see it, my brothers.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I totally disagree with that list. See, my list is damn near the same. I got the Nets first, and then I got the Bucks, and then I got the Bulls. And then number 4, I got Miami. I'm they were just in the finals a couple years ago, and then they
Right.
they didn't do nothing but get better. They added a top-notch point guard in Kyle Lowry. You also add PJ Tucker, who was very valuable last year with the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think the Milwaukee Bucks get as far as they do without PJ Tucker's defense, so that's a big addition as well. And also the Morris twin. And then at 5, I have Atlanta. 6, I have Boston. Or no, 6, I'm sorry. I have Philly. 7, I have Boston. And then 8, I have the Hornets. And the only reason I give the Hornets the edge over Toronto is mostly because of point guard play. Again, I know Van Fleet is very good, but I just think how well LaMelo performs next year, man, is just going to take the Hornets and make them better than they should be. So I got them at the 8th seed. So it's going to be tough, though.
And trust me, man, if you're a Knicks fan, y'all know I love I want the Knicks to do well. I want them to do well. But I'm just going off scouting what team rosters they have. Toronto, I truly feel that they're going to come back into the playoffs. They got the Siakam coming back. They restructured the roster. They're very versatile, man. I saw it in preseason from a glimpse, and they can guard a lot of players.
Bro, why does everybody like the Knicks, man? I'm just so confused. Like,
The,
their best player is Julius Randle, and he's not bad, but he's not like he's a high level shooter on the perimeter. And in the playoffs, I don't think Kemba Walker, the way his body is set up, and I don't even know if he has full ACLs in both his knees anymore, bro. That's how bad he looks sometimes. And he plays no defense. Like, bro, look, the Knicks versus the Hornets, LaMelo is going to eat Kemba alive. Like, Kemba cannot guard LaMelo anywhere. You also have Terry Rozier. Like, the Knicks, man, I just think they're overrated, bro. I'm not trying to hate on y'all, but I think y'all overachieved last year. But it's gonna be tough, man.
hey, man, shout out to the Knicks. Y'all know I like the Knicks, but I don't know, man. Jude, you know what I'm talking about, man. Just
Yeah,
I have a weird feeling that this will be a little dip this season because a lot of teams got their legs. That COVID year, man, there was people playing in the bubble. Uh, teams that didn't even look the same because they were just exhausted from just coming from the bubble, and the Knicks took advantage of that as they should. But man, Gerson says Knicks one of the deepest teams. They're not on the Bulls level on depth. I don't see it like that. They got good role players, but
do
they're
they?
not like the Bulls.
Man, I'm looking at their roster, and I mean, to be fair, they are deep. You have Kemba Walker, Evan
Right.
Fournier that they added. You also have Derrick Rose off the bench, Alec Burks, RJ Barrett. But a lot of these guys are unproven players like RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. Some of these guys are just unproven players. And then after that, off the bench, after Derrick Rose off the bench, who else do you have? Who I mean, you got Emmanuel Quickly. You have a couple pieces off the bench, but I mean, Kevin Knox. I mean, Quentin Grimes. I just don't think they have enough, man. And a lot of their top tier talent to me isn't as good as some of the other teams in the Eastern Conference. Like Julius Randle is not messing with Levine and all these dudes or Giannis. I don't think he's on those guys' level. And their bench is decent with Derrick Rose, but it's not that good. So let's pipe down a little bit, man.
And Walter Robinson, what's good, brother? Uh, he said Charlotte overrated as well until they do some blew out by 100 in preseason. Come on, I had them at 9. I mean, I had them at 9. I think I was being objective on, you know, I didn't have them at 8 seed or something. I had them at 9 until I see. That's what I said in the beginning of the video. Until I see uh Charlotte make some moves, I'm gonna keep them at. I'm gonna project them at the 9th seed. Thunder says Nets, Bucks, Heat, Bulls, Hawks, Sixers, and he has the Knicks at 8.
I think he missed one team. You missing the Celtics in yours, Thunder. Celtics,
You don't
Toronto.
think the Celtics are gonna make it?
Nah, he didn't put a 5th seed. He only got 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh,
6,
okay.
7,
I
8.
think he has the Celtics as the 5th seed. Yeah, the
Everyone
East is
knows
a lot
Hornets are
better this year.
trash. Wow. Why are people hating on bro? Wait. Okay, everybody. Just because they got blown out by 50, I understand, bro. It's preseason. Like, bro, it's players that look like one of the best players in the league in preseason, and then they don't do nothing in the regular season. So just calm down, bro. Just calm down. It's one game. when they get their pieces back, when they get Gordon Hayward back, who's injured and one of their most experienced players, also Terry Rozier that they were missing last game, they are going to be fine. Just calm down, man. Calm down.
And here's the thing about these predictions: anything can happen, man. The East is so loaded this year. Any team can fall off that was a playoff team. That those predictions we're making, I bet you it's going to look a lot different. Uh, I I wouldn't be surprised if the Bulls are the number 2 seed.
Mm,
I would not be surprised. Let me see. Walter Robinson says, "I just got the Knicks before Charlotte." That could happen. I wouldn't be surprised at that either. I'm just going with my hunch, and and it's not like it's a big difference. Like a 9 seed, 10 seed. The goal, really, with the new play-in style, is to get a 6 seed, so you could bypass on doing the playing game.
right,
That's what teams should strive for: 6 and up.
right. The Knicks are nice, man, but I got the Knicks before. Nah, man, I got the Knicks before Charlotte too. Mr. Glass, Hayward is trash. See, that's I really want to do this, man. Like the Knicks roster versus the Charlotte roster, right? Okay, the best player on the Knicks roster is Julius Randle. Can we agree on that? Are you taking Julius Randle over LaMelo Ball? I'm not doing that. DJ, are you?
LaMelo's younger and he has more potential. I know people gonna get mad about that, but I'm going with the younger player.
Okay.
That's what scouts do.
Yep. All the time. And then you have Mr. Terry Rozier. Who's the second best player on the Knicks, would you say? Evan Fournier or Kemba Walker? I'm taking Terry Rozier over any of those guys. Remember, Terry
Ter-
Rozier.
Ter- Terry Rozier is better than Kimba, in my
Yep.
opinion. Right now, he's averaging 20 some points. He's one of the most clutch players in the NBA. Now I'll
Yep.
say this about the Knicks. No one's disagreeing. The Knicks. I said the Nets. The Knicks have more depth than the Hornets. It's not even close, and they have better coaching. They have better coaching. They have a culture, and they know what their team is. I've always given the Knicks that credit. Juju, you back in?
Yeah, my bad. It lagged me out. Well, I'm good now.
Oh yeah, you good?
I missed what you said at the end though.
I was saying that no one is disagreeing that that the Knicks has more talent than a lot of teams. I mean, not talent, but depth than the Hornets and all these other teams. Is really are the starters enough to make an impact in a much improved East? And this is not a COVID year again. Look at when the regular season start, you're gonna see the great teams have their legs back. There's no bubble. There's no recovering from the bubble or none of that. And that's what no one's talking about. That COVID year, man, you saw the veteran teams, man. They was looking sluggish, out of shape. They really wasn't in basketball shape because of the bubble. Yeah, shout out to Coach Stibbs. I like his coaching style. I like
Yep.
how he's demanding of his players. And if you want to ask me who's the better coach between James Borrego or Thibodeau, I would say
Oh
Thibodeau,
yeah.
the
That's
milli
easy.
second.
That's easy. Oh yeah, Thibodeau has way more experience. He has way more. He's coached way more teams in the playoffs. Don't forget that Chicago team. I believe he even took that Timberwolves team back in the day with like Wiggins and all that. That was
Yeah,
really
he took
shitty
that
or
team to the
really terrible.
playoffs.
Right? He took that team to the playoffs with like Rubio and all them. So I mean, Thibodeau is known for coaching his teams up, and he has the cachet to where you can say he's easily a better coach than JB. So I will give y'all that. That's the one thing y'all got on the Hornets for sure.
Let me see. If they lose the matchups against the Knicks, it will be on James Borrego. It will be on James Borrego because he's playing. Because I could predict him playing a lineup that's conducive to losing and not playing his starters longer. In this season, each starter has to at least play 35 minutes or up, unless they're blown out of team.
Completely
That's
agree.
because the Hornets have no depth. Would it surprise me if the Hornets are a 12 seed and nothing goes their way, no, not really. It would not surprise me.
I wouldn't be mad. Go out and get a center in the draft, man. Make draft better. Don't get Book Knight or no Kai Jones. Get somebody that you know is going to be able to come in and help the team if that's what happens. But I wouldn't be so like if LaMelo averages 25 and 8 and the team is just terrible, man. I'll go with it and hold my head high, man, and it'll be what it is, man.
A Pain Sabbath said COVID killed my Wizards last year. We balled out soon as we was full healthy, but Philly was too much for us in the playoffs. Uh, Wizards fans, you guys are right. COVID did ruin y'all season because I think when you all had your players healthy, uh, lack of COVID symptoms, they looked really good. But when COVID happened and there were players sitting out games because of it, uh, they didn't look the same. They had a losing streak. So that's what was happening last season. Thankfully, you'll see more healthier teams this go around. But the Wizards are a team that I cannot pinpoint on. I don't know what record they will have. I don't know. Dude, if the Wizards were a 7th seed or a 6th seed, would you be totally surprised?
I'll be surprised. I'll be pretty surprised because their best player is a high scorer. But other than that, what does Bill like really bring at that high level? I mean, he's a good defender. He's a nice passer, but in how the Eastern Conference is currently constructed, I don't think your best player can just be some high level scorer. Like you have to have more to your team. And after Bill, I mean, you have Kuzma, you have Kylie Kuzma, and then you have Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't think that's going to be enough. After your best player versus teams like the Celtics or even the Hornets. Like your best player on the Hornets is LaMelo, and sure, LaMelo might not be as good as Beal, but after LaMelo, you have a couple other core players that are really good in Terry Rozier and Miles Bridges. So I just think those teams have more. But if they're a 7th seed over like the Hornets and Toronto and the Pacers, I'll be very surprised. Very.
Yeah, don't sleep on the Pacers, man. Good coaching changes things. watch this offensive sets that the Pacers are going to run. Malcolm Brogdon, he's not a star, but he's a good player. And he has one of the highest IQs in the NBA. A big guard. Uh, but didn't he average 20 a game?
Yeah, he averaged 20 points a game
Yeah.
last year.
Again, we don't know what could happen. That's why I'm excited. That's
Hey, this man just put KCP. Oh, nah. If you put KCP fourth, nah, you nah. he
what none of
said
us.
he said Dinwiddie, Bradley, Bill, Kuzma, and the fourth dude you named was KCP. No, bro. No, the Wizards aren't gonna be good.
KCP, I'll say that he ain't like a scrub, but he is a definition of a role player.
Yeah, but if he's our fourth
Got
best player, if that's not good, man. And yeah, y'all forgetting about Rui Hachimura. That's what we're forgetting about. The Wizards
so
gonna be nice.
yeah, that's not a bad roster. Their
It's not bad.
backups, like the Wizards, man. I looked at their roster right, and I was looking at the full depth chart. I was like, wait a minute, the Wizards have depth. Like they're not no punk team out there.
Let me look at their roster right quick, man.
Like
So I can be fair.
I had to look real quick because the subs they do a good job of letting me know about these teams and the rosters, and I was like, wait a minute, the Wizards' overall roster is better than the Hornets. I
I
shit you
mean,
not. I shit you not. The Wizards' roster is a lot better than the Hornets.
right. I just think the difference with the Wizards, they don't have a lot of flashy guys. They don't have a Miles Bridges or
Right.
LaMelo Ball. Like I can see what you're saying. They do got Denny Avdia, Bradley Bill, Davis Bertans, Thomas Bryant, KCP, Dinwiddie, Rui Hachimura, Montrezl Harrell, Aaron Holiday, Corey Kispert, who I really like out of the draft, Kyle
Look at
Kuzma,
this.
and Cassius Winston out of Michigan State, who's very nice, and Isaiah Todd. So they're
Daniel
looking pretty
Daniel
decent.
Gafford.
Oh
Daniel
yeah,
Gafford.
Daniel Gafford. Yep.
You
Oh.
know what's crazy? He could start for the Hornets. He's better than Plumlee.
Mm.
I checked him out. He's really good. I remember when he's playing for the with the Bulls. He's really good. Uh, you said Corey Kispert, Aaron Holiday, who is a good backup point guard.
Right. That played with
Nito,
Lonzo at UCLA.
exactly. Nito, good backup. Isaiah Todd, a rising talent. He's very raw, but when he figures it out, he's gonna be really good. This is a good roster.
Mm.
Now, do they know how to win? That's the
Yep.
question.
That's the question. And who's their coach? Scott Brooks?
I think they got a new coach now. Scott Brooks is not there.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's gonna be a thing too. But yeah.
Their head coach is
Listen,
Wes Unseld Jr.
yeah, I have no idea who that is.
No, that's Wes Unseld's senior son. He used to play. Ironically, Wes Unseld Sr. used to play for the Wizards. He won a championship. I think he won a championship with them in the '70s.
Yeah, I don't even think I was thought of when that happened. So I still don't know who that is,
Right.
DJ. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No. You young man. It's okay. It's okay. I'm young too because I'm only 29. So I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. I'm. I'm not that old school. But I've done my basketball school. I call it learning from these teams. Man, when I was in high school, I would just go on NBA.com and look at the history, who won championships, who did this, out of fun, and that's the reason why I know the information I do.
Yeah, man. You're definitely knowledgeable at everything, bro. I could tell you do your research having everything pulled up.
And I learn from everybody else too, man. I learn from the subs. And here's a good thing about knowledge: we could all gain something from each other. The person that who thinks that know it all usually are not the smartest. But I'm going to read the Hornets roster: LaMelo Ball,
Mm.
Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, Gordon Hayward, Mason Plumlee is the starters. The backups: Ish Smith, P.J. Washington, Kelly Oubre, Jalen McDaniels, Cody Martin, Scotty Lewis, Wes Uwandu, Nick Richards, uh, J.T. Thor, James Boatnight, Vernon Carey, and Kuboka from Lithuania. Did I say Kai Jones?
Kaboka. Yeah, I think you said Kai Jones.
Oh, okay. Uh, Shout out to the CFL podcast, man. Subscribe to his channel. The most objective persons when it comes to sports. He's very objective, man. So subscribe to his channel, man. Show him love. This has been a good day. But reading that roster, brother, what do you think about the Hornets? Their total roster.
See, the biggest thing I can say is that they're really young. A lot of the pieces that you named are really young players, 25 and under. So I think they're going to need years of experience to gain. But obviously, looking at the roster, the biggest hole in the roster is definitely at center, like my boy Mark Murgod in the chat is saying. Kai Jones is obviously a young player that needs to work on his IQ. And we've seen in the preseason that who's the second center off the bench? Nick Richards. So if Nick Richards is our backup center going into the season, that just tells you we have a huge hole and a huge need at center. Specifically, we need a center that can, play great interior defense, block shots, set good screens, roll to the rim, obviously have nice hands. He doesn't have, buttery biscuit fingers like Bismack Biyombo, they can catch passes and, finish at the rim. That's all they really need from, hearing what you said about the roster. But the clear weakness is at center. The clear weakness is off the bench. And another thing about the bench, they don't have a lot of shooting, DJ. Where's the shooters? Kelly Oubre, not a good shooter. Ish Smith, never been a shooter. Book Knight 30% in college and hasn't been that good in the preseason. They don't have a lot of scorers and shooters off the bench. and that's the other weakness that I'm sensing. But from the upper tier of their core, I think they're good. Miles and LaMelo and Terry, that's a good core. That's a great core. So they just have to build around that in a right way. But I want to get your thoughts on this, DJ.
Yeah, I call it 4-player heavy, weak bench. They're 4-player heavy, but weak bench. Really, it's 3-player heavy because you can't really count on Gordon Hayward. He gets injured a lot. So there's 3 players you can trust on this team: LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier. Gordon Hayward is optional because of his health, and that's what may get him in trouble. And if the Knicks win the head-to-head, and if the Pacers win head-to-head, it's going to be because of their depth, lack of depth, and bad coaching. So that's 2 problems. So I'm actually being nice to the Hornets that I predicted them to be a 9th seed. Because the Eastern Conference, man, it's no joke this year. The CFL podcast says, so what's the deal with Jello? Is he signed or not? He was signed, but they waived him. And Juju, why do you question it? You can answer this the best way you can, brother. Why do you think the Hornets signed Jello and didn't release him that quickly?
Um, Damn, I ain't gonna lie, I haven't did any research. I haven't even watched any videos of it. I didn't see
Right.
where he was waived. I saw where he got signed, and he got the G League contract. But from everything that I was gathering, it seems like they waived him so they could have some type of affiliate rights, so he wouldn't be in the draft. I guess so they could just put him on the G League team. That's the only thing I could guess, but I haven't really did my research on it, and I apologize for not coming up here being informed about the situation. We supposed to be on this. I'm supposed to be on this, but
No,
I,
no,
I
no,
gotta
you
I gotta
good.
do some more digging on that, man. I have no idea myself. If anybody in the chat knows what's going on with Jello or have any theories or ideas, man, please let us know. Or DJ, if you know, enlighten me, bro. I need to know this, man.
Yeah, you good because this is new for everybody. The Jello information because it happened so fast. He was signed and didn't waive. What I've heard, most likely is G League.
Right.
The most likely teams do this all the time. Weston Wandu got picked up, signed, got waived. Cambria says he's going to the G League. So that's
Okay.
the word on the street. And brother, you good? Like this was news to me earlier in the day, man. And I had to connect the dots. But what this tells me and everybody else is listening, not LaMelo, LiAngelo is most likely going to play in the Greensboro Swarm.
Mm,
Thunder said they want to keep his rights in the G League, so they had a waive
okay.
from my understanding. So that's
Okay.
what I've been hearing.
So what I saw was right too. So that's what I was trying to say. So basically, they waived him so they could have his G League affiliate rights without him going through like the draft process and
Right.
having an opportunity for a different team to like snatch up his rights or whatever. That's
Exactly.
allegedly. I guess I don't really know how to put it in terms, but that's what it sounds like to me from reading a couple of the comments.
And that's what teams do when they acquire players and put them on their G League team.
So what do you see LiAngelo doing this year? Like since more than likely he's gonna be on G League. Obviously, he possibly should be starting because the G League, we already see the bench of the Hornets isn't good. So we know damn well the G League team ain't gonna be good. So what do you see Jello doing on the G League?
I see Jello, and I'm just going off everything going right. I see Jello just because I'm judging off summer league
Mm-hmm.
and G League is around that area talent wise. So I see him averaging 12 points per game first year. Uh, LiAngelo, he has to get in a basketball type of body. And when I say this, no disrespect, he has a football body. And he has to transform his body uh, like a basketball player, in my opinion. And he will be work. The good thing about the G League, their trainers, their strength and conditioning, they'll help him out with that. He plays hard. He's gonna hustle, but I see him averaging 12 points. I had someone tell me, "Oh, he's gonna average 20 points in the G League." Look at the summer league. It's a game within the game, man. You think these players are gonna just pass on the ball all the time? They're not gonna do that. So objectively, I see him averaging 12 points. He'll get a couple threes. I think he'll shoot about 36% from three.
Okay. So do you think he'll get time on the real roster eventually this season?
Not this season. No,
Okay.
not
Yeah,
this
I
season.
could
Remember,
see I could see him maybe like just thinking about Gordon Hayward's injury pass and just a COVID year. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I definitely I agree with you. I wouldn't say that that's going to happen.
Walter Robinson says if they send Jello to the G League, they will feature him. It won't be like summer league. I hope so. Trust me, we're fans of Jello. I mean, shit, we would like to see Jello get 30 some minutes in the G League and take all the shots he wants. But I'm just judging how the players he might play with and how the Hornets do things. Um, Someone said 14 points per game. That's more realistic than 20 some points per game, or even mine when I said 12 points.
Yeah, 20. That's crazy. I don't know where they getting that from.
Thunder says Hornets need a center 15-10 type of guy. Man, they need it for the longest. They need it for the longest, man. That's what's really holding the Hornets back. They don't have that type of center that's just that dog, man, that clogs up space. Like no one gets there in the paint. They do not have a center like that. And that's why they're in basketball purgatory. The Hornets are the type of team, even when they're good, in their good years, quote unquote, they don't really do much. 8 seed is good enough for them. So they need a center that's really going to let teams know it's going to be a long night when you play against the Hornets. They need that guy.
Facts. Facts.
Quell Davis says, shout out to DJ and Raw True Fan. Yeah, shout out joining the Raw True Fan, man. It's all love. The young boy Juju, man, kicking the knowledge. Uh, Brother, not that. How old are you, my brother?
I'm 19, bro.
This brother's 19 years old, and he sound more intelligent than some of these people that's 30, 40, that just. And that's what it's all about. It's about the youth, man. It's about the youth, man, and letting them know you have a future in life. Um, his channel's doing wonderful things. How many subscribers you got, brother?
I'm like in the 700s somewhere.
That's impressive. And you've been doing YouTube for how long?
Probably like 2 months, or
Two
like two and a
months.
half.
See, 2 months, and he got 700 plus subs.
Man,
And
it's thanks to people like you, man. Like
right,
Flight Sports, DJ, even new media. It's all a thanks to just everybody helping, and it's just about the connections, man, and just fucking with everybody and people
right,
having my back, bro, and pushing me and stuff, and you know even you, bro, like before any of this, you're one of the main inspirations. Like you, AB the hero. Like I don't think you understand how big of you're one of the first people to start doing this shit, DJ. Like I always looked at you like I'm trying to be like that one day. So like it's just looking at people like you, AB, DKM, and it just makes me want to go harder, bro. So it's like appreciation to everybody, man, and the Most High, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
God waking me up every day, having breath in my body, bro, having a motivation to just make videos and even want to watch basketball. It just pushes me, man. So I appreciate all of y'all. And I thank you, man, for even having me up here today, bro. Appreciate you.
Man, that means a lot. And thank you, Walter Robinson, for the $5 super chat to help grow this nation out, brother. I appreciate your opinions. And one thing I enjoy about these type of talks, even when y'all disagree, it's an educated response. I appreciate that. We're all learning. We all learn from each other, and I love the energy. back to Juju. Juju, thank you for saying that, brother. That means a lot. Um, I'm gonna tell you how humble Juju is. When he was really getting in the game of YouTube, he will always ask me questions. And I'm the person. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you 1,000% facts. I'm not going to hold off information because I don't want this person to out game me in subs. I didn't care about that. I saw something in Juju, and I always told Juju, I'm like, man, these YouTubers with 100K subs, 200K subs, you can do that, brother. If you do it the right way, you do it your way, and you keep the most high first, great things will happen. So now he's at 700 and 700 plus in 2 months, which is a record. It's a high pace for anybody. Not too many people could do that. And the next month he may get 1,000 subs and he get monetized. And the next month, and the next month. This is what happens when you're humble. All the stuff, man. I was from the recording stuff and the editing stuff. He has figured it out. Anonymous says, much respect to all. Appreciate that, bro, man. Appreciate that, man. Man, Jude, before we go, I want to ask you, man, what is your goal for your channel? What do you want this channel, the channel of yours, to be when it's all said and done?
Man, I just wanted to be a place of comfortability, for people that just want to listen to anything that they love, whether it's basketball, anime, whatever, and just making content for the people, entertaining people, and also helping the ones that, like you said, are humble and that also see a place in the YouTube community or whatever they're trying to do. Just help pushing the community, bro. Everybody that helped me, just having everybody's back in the community, bro, and just that's really all I want to do with my channel. It's not even about monetization or money or none of that. I
Right.
just want to connect with other people and just have great relationships with people, make new friends, bro, and just have a family bond with everybody, bro, and just help the people, bro, for real, for real.
Man, no doubt, man. This is about it's always about the younger generation having something better than what we have it. Always. And man, Jew, thank you for joining the show, man. Thank you for being a real one. And and man, you're welcome anytime, man. You're welcome anytime. For those who uh want to know where I'm at, I'm not doing Twitter anymore or Instagram. Um, I'm gonna
Yeah,
put
man,
my
DJ, you
email.
disconnected. Yeah, I don't even know where to hit you up.
Yeah,
I
let
gotta,
me
I
let
gotta
me
get
put
your
my
number or something. Or something.
yeah. You put your number on the private chat, not on the. You see where it says private chat,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I
not at
got
the
you.
post chat. Private chat. Put the number at the private chat.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let me put that on there. Got it.
I just put it the second one. It's not the
Got you
first one. The
covered.
first one
And
I put the wrong one. It's the second one.
got it. Got it. Networking. Um, for those who want to um, ask me a question or anything, the email is located on the information page of the YouTube channel. You can email me. Uh, if you want me to talk about a video of a certain subject, I'm here for it. Or if you got any ideas, let me know. Um, in the wise words of Coach Joe, and boom too, and boom too. Y'all remember that, man. Shout out to the OG. Uh, and any last words, Jew?
Uh, nah, that's it, man. It was a great stream, man. Again, appreciate everybody coming through. We did our thing. You did your thing, DJ, and ready for the season, man. I'm ready for Wednesday. It's crazy that NBA finna start back Wednesday, bro. So, man, it's gonna be a crazy week, bro.
Yeah, it is, man. It definitely is. And before we roll out, we're gonna play the wise song for the we see the Uncle Vern outro.
Let me tell you something. Back in my day, Let me show